Say the process of site selection was disgusting and a form of cultural genocide, and they're travelling across the country to take their fight to Canberra. Alex Mann reports.
Almost 5 hours drive north of Adelaide, the sun rises over the Flinders Ranges.
We was created here. This is our land of our creation. So we come from this earth. We've been here forever.
Regina Mackenzie's people have walked this country for thousands of years. Today, she's tracking an Adnyamatna storyline.
This is where Vanduraka Kamashod gave our law holder. He gave the dance and the story of the law of our people came through this area. That's the law of our land. That's our law, which is, this whole area is our law land.
Regina Mackenzie's a traditional owner and a member of Billy Warrenayura, the corporation that was granted this land in 2000. But in a hidden rock shelter where ancient paintings depict the natural landscape, Regina Mackenzie says something's not right.
This is actually an ancient map. This here represents the hills that you can see Oka in around that area. If you turn it up like that there, that's the Flinders Ranges area. This area is where they want to put the waste dump. Always every waste dump is near an Aboriginal community. It's like, yeah, they're only a bunch of blacks. They're only a bunch of abos, so we'll put it there. Don't you think that's a little bit confronting for us when it happens to us all the time?
Do you want to take a moment?
Can't they just leave my people alone, honestly? We've just faced so much shit in the past.
This is just the latest front in a battle around nuclear waste that's raged for decades. Australian hospitals and industry generate about 45 cubic metres of nuclear waste per year, and right now it's stored at more than 100 sites across the country. Attempts to find a single, secure place to store it have failed, and now the federal government's trying something new.
The biggest single difference was that they opened up for voluntary nominated sites, but that doesn't bring with it a community who shares the view or the aspiration of one property owner.
Well, there's the map of Wallabadina Station, which is about 45, well, instead is about 45 kilometres out of Hawker, so it's isolated, well isolated from Hawker.
When the federal government asked landowners to volunteer to take the waste, former Liberal Senator Grant Chapman nominated his property. He part owns the land next door to Regina Mackenzie's. Did you consult with anyone from the Adnyamatna community about your nomination prior to nominating?
No, it wasn't appropriate to consult prior to nomination. I mean, it is our property.
And so where exactly... In 1995, he chaired a Senate committee that recommended that waste be stored in a single location. And now, out of a list of 28 shortlisted sites, his is the last one left. Is this in any way a conflict of interest?
Certainly not. In fact, the department and the advisory committee that were making all of the initial assessments right up until the initial shortlist was selected weren't even aware that I was a part owner of the property. And there is clearly overwhelming support within the Hawker region for the facility to be located there, whereas the other areas were about 50-50 community support.
This natural spring is on the edge of Grant Chapman's property. Regina Mackenzie and her family have the right to access it whenever they want.
And this is one of the main areas here, is Punkapuran, and this is Ukna Waterall.
The traditional owners have sought the help of veteran anti-nuclear campaigner Dave Sweeney to help stop the waste site from going ahead.
Looking at 20 years of these sort of issues in Australia, it just feels disturbingly familiar and disturbingly like we're replicating past mistakes. But it's a long way from where this is to where decisions are being made. What we want to do is use our connections, our contacts, our ability to amplify the story.
The government will now conduct assessments of the suitability of this land, but the traditional owners say nowhere's acceptable. In a few days, they'll be leaving this place and taking their fight to the city.
I don't usually like cities, but for this place, and this is the reason I'm going there, to protect this.
Today on the streets of Melbourne, Regina and her sister Vivian brace against the cold. They've come a long way to bring their message to Resources Minister Josh Frydenberg.
We're going to ask him, tell him our side of the story and show him why we believe it's not a good place to have the waste dump.
The federal government has said it won't impose the facility on an unwilling community, but says that no group has a right of veto. Regina hopes her voice will help change his mind.
Well, I hope so. I hope that there's some feeling in there that he would see, and that the human part of him that will actually say and listen to us.
Would you reconsider your nomination given the opposition from Aboriginal traditional owners?
No, we wouldn't. I mean, we nominated it bearing in mind that was a potential issue. But as I said earlier, clearly the community around Hawker in general is strongly supportive of this facility going into the area because of the jobs that it will generate, obviously in the construction phase, because of the $10 million community fund, which will be of enormous benefit to a small community like Hawker.
What is our water worth? To me, it's priceless. But apparently to non-Aboriginal people and the wider community, the broader community as they talk about, it's worth $10 million, which I think is a whole lot of crock.
The minister declined to be interviewed by 7:30, saying instead in a statement that legitimate issues have been raised about the Indigenous heritage in the broader area, and as a result, the government will undertake a comprehensive and independent heritage assessment and further consult with key stakeholders before any final decisions are made. Late this afternoon, the women emerged from the minister's office. Regina and her sister Vivian say they're settling in for a long fight.
The Flinders Range is just the icon of South Australia. It's to do with tourism. People from all over the world come to see that place. They don't want to come there to see a waste dump. This fight's going to be never ending. Never give up.